Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Jake Foster, Matt Burt, not ever called you that. Thank you guys for being part of our world. Thank you for telling your story. This In Your Mind grant program, it continues into this year, and we're looking for sponsors. If you go to our website, fivepointsmusic.com, you can go online, you can check out our donate page, and you got all these different buckets you can drop some money into, depending on what programs you've heard from tonight that you really support. Whether you want to support our capital campaign, our effort to raise money for capital improvements, whether you want to sponsor musicians like this through our in-ear monitor grants, whether you want to sponsor a kid and a family to be able to go to our music therapy program. All these programs are available to learn more about, as well as, most importantly, support on our website at fivepointsmusic.com. Please go back, take a look at our story, rewatch this video if you're from home or when you leave here tonight. Learn more about what we do. As our closing segment tonight, you guys go ahead and turn right here. We'll kind of work you in. I'd like to welcome to the stage three special individuals that are good friends of ours that have come to our concerts and been part of our world for quite a while here. Each one. Excuse me here. All right. Each one of these individuals has a different story to tell about their experiences, not just here, but wherever they go. Their world is not always easily accessible, and I can't sit here and imagine that we do every single thing under the sun to be able to make it possible, because there are some restrictions to our ability to do that. That means things like money, resources, capacity. Our effort to build on what we do here is being driven by the success of tonight's evening. It's being driven by our ongoing goals to use events like these to fund and promote our programs when it comes to hearing loss advocacy, music therapy, and our accessibility initiatives. I'd like to welcome to the stage three beautiful souls. This is Clifford, Emily, and Sally. Each one of them got a little story to talk about. They're going to tell a little bit about their experience, but I'm going to ask each one of you guys right now, y'all real quickly, go through, introduce yourself, tell the people here about your name and where you are, where you're from, and a little story about who we are. Clifford?
Hola. Hello.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien.
My name is Clifford, like the big red dog, but I have a big red beard. I am a Glenville alumni, 2003. I was also a marching band kid, so I believe in the power of music. Then my the story I love sharing the most. 7th grade, I had a bicycle accident. I didn't have a helmet on. I had 3 blood clots on my brain. They told my family I was gonna die. 2008, in my 20s, I had to get a pacemaker. 2013, now I have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. But the good side of my life, I've been to over 500 concerts. 5 Points is by far the most handicap accessible. Tyler, with his compassion, I think a 5 Points like home. Then the fact this is basically in my backyard. I live near Salem, but 5 Points right next door.
Emily, you want to thank you so much, Clifford. This is definitely a home for you, and I'm so happy to have you here, part of it. Emily Allison,
Gracias.
we'll come right back.
My name is Emily. I am from the Roanoke area, and am I just supposed to give like a couple of facts about myself, or what do you want me to say exactly?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Did you just want like a couple of facts about myself, or what exactly did you?
Speak from the heart.
Yeah, tell a little bit about where you're from, what's your name, what brought you to 5 Point for the first time? I feel like the first time you called,
The New Year's show last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And Emily's come in with a wonderful partner, Isaac, who's sitting back there. When individuals like this call us up, we have a team that answers these calls. Our goal and our role in this concept is to create a point of communication, a channel that's responsive, not just to the fact that a ticket was sold from an ADA concept, but how do we just create a dedicated point of emphasis? How do we don't always do it right, but we wake up and we try to figure out how to do it better each and every day. You wrote a great email to me unprompted, kind of requested, but it was a broader thought about your experiences here and some of the things that I wasn't quite aware of the last concert she was at. And I get so excited about lights. I think, if I can't hear, I want to feel, I want to see. But everything had a double edge, and I saw Emily, who had to walk out, get in the back for a minute to kind of cool down and calm down for a second, because the lights here were so intense and so amazing to the people here that they also forgot that they were struggling to connect with some other guest in the audience that we often forget about. In a moment of an apex part of a concert, we talk about when the lights, the bands, the audience bring everything together. It's often important to remind ourselves that can go the other way for some individuals. And she taught me that the other night, reminded me, didn't teach, but reminded me, just like you think every day, reminded me that somebody in this room doesn't like this chaos of lights. It can have all types of sensory challenges to them. And she needed sunglasses. These kind of experiences that she shared with us through our emails and stuff help us to define how we create better practices. The better practices here are not just confined to this space. We try to take these best practices, the applications of those, and scale them out to the world beyond. These partnerships that we've had with different festivals, organizations, and concert venues have gone up and down the coast, and they continue to expand, where we take what we do here and we expand it. Emily, could you tell a little bit more about your personal challenges when you choose to go out? What are some of the things that you're commonly challenged with in terms of where you choose to go? How long you choose to go out? What are some of those challenges?
Feeling safe is a big one for me because I have PTSD. Just accessibility in general. I was somewhere last night where I guess I was a little bit in the way, and rather than asking me to move, they physically moved my wheelchair for me. Which is a little weird and not something that I've ever experienced here. I just think there needs to be a lot more education and things like that regarding accessibility.
Thank you, Emily. I'd like to introduce another amazing woman up here tonight, Miss Sally Edelman. I think that your story can be told best by yourself, but I got a lot of great stories I will tell. I'll let you go first.
Can everybody hear me? Working? Well, I'm going to introduce myself first. I'm a working artist and have been all my life. I've been supporting myself through creative art since 1969. I've done all different kinds of things. For the last 23 years, I've been doing face and body art and creating costuming and hats and selling those. I love what I do. I love music the most. It inspires me. It heals me. It just keeps my spirit going. I have to say that 5 Points has really fed the energy that heals me with the music. From the very first time I came here, I felt so welcomed and so part of the family. I've met so many people here that have become really good friends, and are like-minded people who are conscious about what's going on in the world and around us. Haven't always lived in Roanoke. I do now. I've lived in New York City and in California and spent many years in New York, and I live part-time in New Orleans, so I have a lot of music venues to compare. And I have to tell you, this is the best in terms of accessibility. It really is. There is another venue here, a theater venue, that has accessibility seating. They're very expensive. They don't give you help getting to your seat. The parking is difficult for a theater of 1,000 people or more. There are 3 parking spaces. So that's not the case here. And, you know, the ramp, the accessibility to the restroom, there's so many things that have been created here since I started first coming here, has been just wonderful for people who need help and aid. And I can't tell you how many times I've pulled up out back in the ADA parking space, and there's been a member of staff back there. You need any help, Miss Sally? You know, right there for me. What do you need? I'd love to help you. And you don't find that anywhere else. You know, I do try to go to some other music places in Roanoke, but there's no access for people who are disabled. You got to go up steps. You can't go in the back door where it's level. There's no seating. It just goes on, and that's not the case here. You really are given a great location. You can reserve seating. The price is not so elevated over everything else that you can't come. And you feel safe. I feel very safe coming here. No one has ever tried to move me or make me go some else into another place. It's just been good. One of the challenges is to not be in the way, as you were saying, and letting people know that you're there and not to step on you, so to speak, because that happens. I would really like to see some elevated seating as a challenge to your accessibility for us. You know, if possible, I would really like to see that. We have a wonderful location now that's all our own, reserved for the ADA people, and that's wonderful. But if you ask for improvement, there's one place I could say that. And, you know, there's so many good things. It's really hard to point out anything that is not spot on. As an artist, I've felt a lot of support from 5 Points. I've been able to practice my art here, and you know, during Biscuit Hour and during other special programs, it's just been wonderful. I'm not the only artist that's supported here. Many artists, Christopher Cobb, you know, with these wonderful pieces you see here. The two artists from Art Rat Studio, Brian Culligan and Ralph Eaton. Wonderful, beautiful masks and sculptures and things like that that have enhanced the productions here, the performances. You know, this is not just a music venue. This is a theater. There's storytelling here. There's comedy. There's so many things that are supported here. You know, you could just go on and on. I made notes, and I'm not even looking at them, but because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to remember anything. But there's really a lot that goes on here. Poetry, the support of the artist, and the musicians is so important. I have to tell this story. This is the last thing I'll say. I was at a doctor appointment recently, a new thing, and after the nurse finished doing the interview and everything, she says, "I think I know you." She said, "Do you like the Dead Reckoning?" And I said, "You bet." And she said, she said, we've just recently started going to 5 Points, and I see you there. She said, I see you there all the time. I said, it's family. I said, it's a wonderful place. It's very welcoming. She said, yeah, everybody was so friendly to us. She said, we met so many good people. We love the music. She said, I'm so glad to meet you. She said, it's just a very special place in Roanoke. And I kind of got cold chills thinking, wow, here's somebody that I don't even know, and she's telling me how it affects her life. So there it is. This place has done a lot for this community on so many levels, not just the hearing advocacy, but on so many levels that you can't even explain them all. I know y'all feel it.
Thank you, Sally. That's kind of the point here, right? I come in and I don't even know where to start when I talk about all the things that we have accomplished over 6 years. And as I started to try and pull this down in some kind of form, I had this, the reality is that the things that we do the most are the simplest things. They're the little things. Whether we lack capacity from a financial standpoint, whether we lack infrastructure, we might lack a lot of things that prevent us from doing something in this world. But the one thing that we should not and have no excuse for lacking it is empathy and compassion.
Yes. And you don't. You got it.
Oh,
When you start right there, the lack of everything else, you can start to build right from the person, right from the soul. These little points of engagement that we share with each other, they serve as the opportunities. And what we talk about when we talk about the power of sound, it is a little moment in which our simple words and vibrations of energy transcend the point of empathy and to help find a way for all of us to share in the same space for a minute or few. Constantly reminding ourselves that each one of us out here is going to wake up tomorrow and have to put one foot in front of the next or figure out one way that we got to roll. Every one of us got to do it. We got to find different sources of energy and strength and remind ourselves why we do it. We look to our families, our loved ones, our friends. We look to strangers that we met that might have shaped and changed the next day of our lives. We look for little moments like tonight. Each moment tonight here has really served as a reinforcement for me for why I started this 6 years ago. And was a point for me to come back and remind myself of all the things I forget. And each one of you has your own story, and you serve as a point for me to continue to remind ourselves and myself why we do what we do. It really is to share in the power of it all with everyone. And I really am grateful for each one of you to come up here and share your story with us. I think we're going to, if you got some other thoughts or anything that we didn't get out, something else you wanted to say, absolutely, Clifford, big dog, go for it, baby.
can you hear me? I used to be a diehard karaoke single, and I've got to take this opportunity to say, we are the good people, the one they warned you about.
Yeah, baby, let it be known. Let it be known. Emily, do you have any final closing thoughts? Anything else you'd like to say?
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
You good? Sally?
I just want to say that music enriches your spirit and your soul, and music heals. That's the thing that 5 Points brings to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I did want to talk.
Yeah, please.
I did want to talk. I just
Please,
didn't hear what you
please.
said.
Absolutely.
I didn't hear what you said.
Whatever you'd like to say, my lady, the stage is yours.
Okay. So having PTSD and obviously missing my leg and epilepsy and different health issues, it's hard for me to find places where I genuinely feel safe and secure. And coming here several times has been massively healing for me on many, many levels. It's overwhelming, honestly. And it's very hard to put into words. It's a very deep feeling, and I'm sure that everybody here is quite aware of how deep the mission of what they're doing is, but I think it's going to go much farther than what it already has. And I'm just one singular person, you know. Imagine the countless other people who can be touched by this place. So.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. Really, it means the world to me. Thank you so much. Please continue to give a big hand here for Clifford Davis, Miss Emily Allison, and Sally Edelman.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. So, you know, we're at the closing element of our evening. There's a couple things, you know, normally in a fundraiser, you tell people to go to 5 Point, donate all night long. Go to 5 Point, donate all night long. But the goal tonight was